TikTok CEO did not find a single friendly face when he was questioned by House lawmakers on the Hill today. Shu Chu faced more than 5 hours of grilling that just ended while we were in break, where lawmakers from both parties urged him to either sell the app or face a ban. The TikTok side of the story, the app does not collect any more personal data than other social media platforms. That's what the CEO said. Then he was asked directly if TikTok's parent company spies on its users.
I ask you again, Mr. Chu, has ByteDance spied on American citizens?
I don't think that spying is the right way to describe it.
Right.
This is ultimately...
We can differ on that.
Joining me now is NBC News Capitol Hill correspondent Ali Vitale. Well, that answer right there, I imagine we're going to hear that answer replayed and repeated a lot by lawmakers.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's right, Katie, especially because there are some lawmakers who walked into this hearing and left after saying that they walked out with more concerns than they had at the outset. So certainly a long day for the head of TikTok, but just the beginning here on Capitol Hill. There have long been conversations here about what to do about the social media app. TikTok highlighted just how big it was, just how large the user base is here in the United States. And that's why people here on Capitol Hill are urging it not for a ban, saying a ban's not inevitable, but they need ByteDance, their Chinese parent company, to sell the company. That's the same ultimatum that the Biden administration has issued. And it's why, as I've been talking to lawmakers, including lawmakers like Congressman Jeff Jackson, who are on this platform regularly and very popular on it, that's why they're saying that there are national security concerns, despite the fact of how big and entrenched this company and this social media platform are.
150 million users, as the head of TikTok pointed out. That's half of the United States. So if Congress is warm to a ban, if the president is warm to a ban, could we see a ban instituted in this country, a ban against TikTok?
Look, it's going to take some time, and I also think it's important to point out that there are a lot of lawmakers who acknowledge the political potential implications here, too. They're quick to cite the national security, the privacy concerns, even the idea that there could be mis and disinformation pushed out through this social media platform. But at the same time, I don't really think either of these parties want to be known as Republicans or Democrats who banned TikTok, especially when everyone is trying to galvanize and engage young voters. That's a concern here as well. But in terms of if a ban is going to happen, certainly there are some bipartisan conversations that are happening up here on Capitol Hill. Speaker McCarthy, just in the last hour or so, as he was talking to reporters, did mention the fact that those are working their way through committees and that he is supportive of where his conference ends up on this. Early stages here, but this hearing was really one of the key things that they needed to happen in order to get the ball rolling. But again, you look at the way that both Republicans and Democrats were talking about this. It's a rare moment where you hear them almost marching in lockstep. Usually these hearings are contentious between the parties. Today, it was just contentious between the lawmakers and the person who was sitting there getting grilled.
Really interesting. Mike, the floor director, doesn't want to ban TikTok, and he's said that he would vote against anyone who did. I don't know if we can call him a young voter, but he's definitely a voter.
Mike says, you know.
Ali Vitale, Ali, thank you. He's laughing. He's in on it.
Good evening, folks. Welcome to my channel again, Travel News with Carlos Cruz. Please like and subscribe. So today I'm going to give you guys some news on this Cop City story. So basically a protest turned violent in downtown Atlanta over the weekend. They're protesting the altercation between the armed individual who shot at the police and was essentially killed by return fire from the police officers involved. These activists were all dressed in black. The GBI has identified them as ties with Antifa or possibly Antifa. The violent protesters were the subsection of hundreds of demonstrators who were gathering and marching along Peachtree Street. And along the way, these people had actually set a police car on fire and damaged ATMs and businesses nearby. According to the GBI, the incident was not recorded on body cameras. The Bureau said Friday that determined the trooper was shot in the abdomen from bullet from the handgun possession. So the word of Saturday's protest had been widely circulated ahead of time on social media among a lot of sites. And a lot of the language was stand up and fight. Atlanta Police Chief Darwin Schwarbaum said during a news conference that the authorities made 6 arrests Saturday that recovered explosive devices after the protesters damaged property along Peachtree Street, a corridor of hotels and restaurants. He said authorities halted the violence within 2 blocks and no citizens or law enforcement were injured. And he states, we can tell now in the early investigation that this was not the focus tonight, just to damage the windows of 3 buildings and set a police car on fire. The intent was to continue to do harm. And a lot of these people involved in some of their social media sites have been inciting violence. And a lot of these people are chanting Stop Cop City. And from what we're told from the current mayor of Atlanta and police entities, that the whole point of this construction is to train police officers to do good in the community. Also, some other news with this, some of these people that were actually arrested were, looks like very well educated. We have Jeffrey Parsons, age 20, from Maryland, Timothy Murphy, 25, of Maine, Spencer Bernard Liberto of Pennsylvania, Matthew Ernest McCarr, age 30, of Pennsylvania, Sarah Walensky, 35, of Pennsylvania, Chris Reynolds, 31, from Ohio. And some of these people were alumni of the Bernard College in Manhattan. McCarr had actually graduated with a master's degree in international affairs from Penn State in 2016, according to LinkedIn. Liberto and Walensky appear to be in a relationship based on social media photos and posts, and seem to have a long history of left-leaning politics. Walensky's Twitter account shows she follows Antifa groups, and on social media, she states she represents autonomous zones. And the majority of these people are from out of state, where a lot of the whole defund the police sentiments have been going on, and defund the police actions and legality have been made, and legal changes have been made according to defund the police movement, which has a lot of those places where they're coming from are kind of lawless in certain areas. For example, in Washington, the security people, they can't stop people. The same thing in California right now. They just sort of watch people go by, unfortunately. I don't condone violence. I hope these people get the help that they need, and I hope no one else gets harmed in this process, because violence is wrong. Even if you do disagree with the government, it's not your property, and people come here to break the law. That's also very wrong. You're setting a bad example for young people. It's not a good thing. And one thing you have to realize is that if you're coming from a blue state, you come to a red state. Red states' laws are strict, and they will enforce those. So I guess don't come to a red state and try to do the same things you do in the blue states, because as you can see, it's not going to work out for you.